몸을 떠나갈 거야 right now 영앤 free 두려울 건 없잖아.
We're gonna try and do this without shaking it too much, but no guarantees. Anyways, as you can see, you're looking at my shelves, which means shelf tour video 2020. The last one I did was back at the end of the year when I made the big decision to remove half of my albums off the shelves and into storage boxes, which are in the collage attic. I don't like when people have to preface like, I'm not trying to brag, or I'm not trying to brag neither. It's just, I put in my time and my money to get my album collection to where it is today, and that's just on that. So without further ado, let's start. And this shelf pretty much stays the same. It's the shelf that I dedicated to Infinite, aka one of my ultimates. Ultimates. Why does that not sound like a word right now? That is a word. It just sounds weird right now. I'm sorry. Anyways, so we have Infinite up here. There's like some big old magazines. Well, there's only one magazine. And then we have a Myungsu photo book. The big albums like Reality, She's Back, and then Wooyeon's New Journey. And then we have all the other albums, the Korean albums in chronological order from like the first minis to the and then everything else. And then after the top seed albums is the Japanese releases that aren't jewel cases. And then we have solos like Sungyu, Wooyeon, and then Infinite F, Infinite H, you know, those. Some DVDs. There's a few soundtracks. Because of my mans, my boo, my husband, Myungsu. So, you know, that's where they go. And then there's the Japanese jewel cases. So, Infinite, group-wise, is done. I do not have Sungkyu's 10 Stories album, and I don't have Dongwoo's News or Hoya's album. And you know what? Or Wooyeon's Right with 2 Dots, part 2. But I mean, I feel like this is completed. I do want the Sungyu and Wooyeon albums. I'm still on the fence about the Dongwoo and Hoya, but I mean, maybe one day in the future I'll buy them. You never know. You never know. So this shelf is my Monsta X albums. First off, so it's like everything there. So with the Up to the Clan part 1, I really thought I was gonna buy all the versions, and then after that I was like, I don't think so. And it wasn't like because I was just like, you know, I don't have the money to buy all the versions. And then they started doing 4 versions from like the Jealousy album to here, and I was like, yeah, I definitely can't do another 4 versions for another group, especially when it's not in my top 5. So that's that. So these are the Monsta X albums I do own. And then here's my Gravity album. Yes, everything is slanty because there's a gap. There's a gap. And then we have Jafriend. Well, there's Icon right now. So there's like some albums that weren't released in 2020, but they were bought in 2020. So that's why like that stuff is there. So here's my G-Friend albums. Definitely want more of them. I really like G-Friend. I realize this is not chronological, but it's height chronological. I don't know. Then we have a Weekly's album. My N-Flying albums that I own. Also not in chronological order. Oh, fucking well. That's gonna bug me. I'll fix that later. And then this is Jin Hyuk's Splash mini album. And then this shelf is my post 101 releases / X1, because, you know, there's only one X1 album. So we have some Yoon Ji-sung and Ha Sung-woon. I do want the other Ha Sung-woon albums. I thought I was going to buy every single post 101 release, and I've decided not to. It's some of the music I like, some of it I don't. So I'm just going to buy the ones I like, okay? And then we have Wooseok Kwanlin. One of them is an M-Wave. And then we have Park Ji-hoon's first mini album. I definitely want the other Park Ji-hoon albums. Truthfully, the only ones that I'm not really a fan of, I wasn't really a fan of Bae Jin Young's single. I don't really care for Park for Kim Jae-won's music. Sorry, Kim Jae-won. Love your vocals though. And then I'm not really here for the other Yoon Ji Sung album, so I didn't buy it. So then we have the first MXM mini album. I would love to get more MXM. And then we have my 3 AB6 albums and the 2 CIX albums. Ong Song. Definitely want to buy Kong Daniel because I really liked his music. Magenta is on the way. It's shipped out with my Ateez, so that will get here when it gets here. And then here's the X1 albums. And I put the M-Wave one on display. I got sent the Cha Jun-ho. He loves me and I love him. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. So that is it. And then, oh, there's nothing on these 2 shelves that are albums yet. I don't know what I'm going to do with that yet. And then right here is Twice. Yes, it's kind of slanty, but it's in chronological order. So we have Story Begins, page 2, Twice Coaster Lane 1. I am slowly working on getting all the versions of the albums, as you can see from Yes or Yes. Minus the Year of Yes. We have all the versions moving forwards, which is typically 3. Yes, Summer Nights was when they were like, okay, it's for real 3, because we're going to continue with that. But we're working on it slowly but surely. So there's all the Twice. This is where I keep like the big boxes, mainly for 101, but we have a Day 6 Seasons Greetings. We have my Golden Child Reboot album. This is the regular edition, and it's still humongous. My X1 Fan Club kit. Behind that is the 101 Seasons Greetings and the 101 Summer Package. In that teal binder is my Infinite Star Cards not completed. I'm not even worried about that. It was just something fun to buy. And then here is Icons Dive. That shit is really tall. And then next to that is Winners Remember. Is it Remember Us or just Remember? Remember album, the 3rd full-length album. I like Winner, and I do definitely want the Everyday album. And really, really, shit. I think I need all of them. I don't know. And then we have Very, Very's Variable right there. And then this last shelf is like the soloists, the K-R&Bs mostly, with a few like sprinkles here and there. So first off is Akmu. Definitely need their album from last year. I still haven't gotten around to buying it. It's expensive though, you know. Then that one is Sejong. Then we have some PH1, Dawn, DPR Live, Yoonha, and then the rest of the jewel case K-R&B thing. So it's like there's Jiyoung, Crush, Zion T, Shit K is in there somewhere, Dean, Hoodie, Sam Kim. You can see that one. It's the thickest one. And then also Jung Jinwoo, love it. And then there is the 3 Lee High albums, Soul Light and First Love and 24 Degrees. So that is that. And that's everything on this one shelf. And then I stuffed all my BT21 Tata dolls in this little cubby, along with this Ice Bear plush that I got at Miniso in San Francisco. So then this little cubby shelf, my mom gave it to me. They used to be in the family room, but I've taken them because she got a new TV display system. So this is where I'm keeping my IU albums. And then there's some miscellaneous girl group, albums that I bought this year. So there's some Oh My Girl, there's A-Pink's Look, Blackpink's Kill This Love, and Itzy's It's Me. There is a space probably for Not Shy, also possibly The Crown, the album, Blackpink, the album, depending on if they all fit there. And then down here, this shelf though, it's completely solid. It's not gonna have any albums added to it or taken away. So it's my B1A4 albums. I chose to keep B1A4 out because B1A4 is still a very important group to me. So we have all of their albums. Let's Fly to, what's your name? Roland. I don't have Sondal solos, even though Sondal is my bias. I like their group music more than I did his solos. And these are the OST albums. I do have some more OST albums, but they're in the boxes. These are my like favorite OSTs that I have that I decided to keep out. So we have Hotel de Luna, While You're Sleeping, Crash Landing on You, ooh, and Mr. Sunshine. So those are the OSTs. That shelf is completely filled. It's booked. It's solid. Love it. And then we move on to the other two big shelves. So up first is my 17 albums, some of them. So here we have my 2016 calendar and the OTU DVD, and then here's all the albums chronologically, most of the Korean releases. There is some Fallen Flower albums just laying on top. This was my birthday card from this year from my mom. I like experimenting and making my own pop-up cards, and she found this one and she thought it was really cool, and I love it. And then those are some of the teenage standees. More 17 albums. Then there's starts the Japanese ones, and then I can take a seat. Oh, sorry. We have the last two copies of Falling Flower, which are the carrot versions, and then all those blue bags is my 10 copies of Hengare. Yeah, I really went crazy with this comeback, and I don't regret it. The last two next to the light stick are the M-Wave copies, and so everyone's curious, I got Junghan and I got Minghao. Lovely. I love Minghao. He's my second bias in 17. Okay, so here's my 17 light stick version 2 Keretbong. There's the glitter photo part from the Fear music video for Joshua. It just fit the aesthetic. It was, my light stick theme was purple. Speaking of purple, we have Astro's light stick, even though Astro's not on this shelf. I put Day 6 on this shelf for the time being. There's Moonrise all the way in the back, and then there's the Twice Candy Bong first light stick and the Day 6 wristband. So all my light sticks have been used in one way or another at a concert, except for Twice. And then there's another light stick that hasn't been used, but every other light stick has been used. Yes, so I've used Astro's light stick in a concert, Day 6. Yeah, I've seen them. And then this shelf is one of my favorites. It'll always be one of my favorites. It's my 101 albums. So it starts with like the big ass First Look magazine, some more magazines. There's a piano sheet music book, the photo essay season 2, some more stuff. And then there's the DVD for the Won the World. And then there's the fan club kit, which is the blue one. And then we have the albums. If you're wondering why I have so many of the first mini album, it's because I bought 2 copies of each in Korea. Because it got released pretty much like a week or so before I flew off to Japan and then started my study abroad in Korea. And then we have the repackaged Nothing Without You, which came out when I was also in Korea. And I got one version as a gift from my homestay mom that I stayed at her house for an adoptees tour way back in 2014. We met up again because I was there. Then we have the I Promise You albums, and then we have all 6 of the Undivided albums, and then behind the Nothing Without You standees, we have the Power of Destiny albums. And then we also have the 101 light stick, because I did see 101 in concert in San Jose. It was magnificent. You know, that is a very special concert to me because they had one world tour. They only had one, and then it was like, you know, because they disbanded and all. So it's like, if you saw it, you saw it, you know? That was really special. I really enjoyed it. That was my birthday gift from my mom. I was like, I don't know what I want for my birthday yet. And then they're like, boom, 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 boom. And I was like, that is what I want. I'm on a great seat. And that was what I got. And then this shelf is the start of the EXO, the XO. Pretty much completed Korean-wise. There's like 2 Chinese versions of albums that I need, which is a Sing For You and an XOXO. And then it's pretty much completed for Korean. So over there, I have version 1 and version 2 light sticks. I've only seen EXO once, so I used the version 1. And then they released version 2, and at the concert, my light stick had broken. So I bought the version 2, and then my friend took that when they came back in like 2016, I believe, is when they came back. Or 2017. One of either or. And then I have the Dear Happiness photo book and the Exolution concert photo book. And then we just have the album, starting with Mama. So up until the war, I bought the Chinese versions way after I bought the Korean versions, but I felt like I wanted both versions just for collection purposes, which is very stupid, but that's just how my mind worked. Because EXO is my favorite group of all time. And then on top of the Overdose on Sing and Miracles in December albums, there's like the very few Japanese albums I have. Member covers, I only buy the member versions, and I only buy Chanyeol or Baekhyun, whichever one I can find for cheap or used, which usually turns out to be Chanyeol, you know. I don't know if that's a statistic or whatever. And then we have Exact, which was the first EXO comeback where I decided to buy the Chinese versions. And then that's when I went back and bought the others. And then I decided to stop buying the Chinese versions starting with The War, because Lay was no longer in EXO's comeback music. So I was like, why am I buying the Chinese versions if it's not for him anymore? So that's that. And then they stopped doing Chinese versions and only gave us Chinese version of the title song, starting with Universe, and then it just continued onwards. So everything else is Korean. So we have the Don't Mess Up My Tempos. I bought one of them at Target, which was awesome. I still need the Vivace version. I'm slipping. I need the Vivace version, y'all. Then we have Love Shot. And then here are the other big photo bookies. I'm trying to sit. I'm trying to be comfortable. That's what I'm trying to do. So there's a W Korea magazine. I remember when those came out, people that were EXO fans were like, okay, we gotta get a cover. We gotta get a cover. And I had to too. I have the EXO K and EXO M versions of the DeYoung's photo book, Daijung's. Need the black one. I couldn't buy it when I bought the other two, so that's that. I have some fan site photo books, Polar Light, Pitch Perfect, that's Baekhyun. Puppy Store, Almost Lover, I think that's the first photo book of Baekhyun and Chanyeol. And then I have On Air Esprit, which is Chanyeol. And then we have the rest of the Korean releases and the Scarlet Hearts DVD soundtrack because of Baekhyun. And then we have subunits, and EXO CBX needs the most work. I also need the first mini album of Chen, but everything else is up to date. And I think the subunits and solos from EXO CS forwards just look so colorful. Everything is so vibrant, except for Suho's album, but everything is like colorful, especially the Baekhyun, Delight, and EXO CS A Billion Views albums. Those just look so pretty together. And then they have the Exolution and EXO Ordium DVDs, and in those purple binders are photo cards. These are various fans and shit. Oh, and then down on this shelf is my BTS. I still need the first two albums. I've just slacked. I have. And then everything else is there. My BTS Funko Pops. And then Pentagon is also sharing the shelf for the time being. And then there's another photo card binder. There's 4 photo card binders total. I think I need to get another one though, because my 2 big ones are becoming a little too full. So we'll have to buy some new ones eventually. And then this shelf, which will be having some renovations later, because Ateez's Fever Part 1 albums are coming. But there's my Ateez albums. I like how they usually consist of red and blues, and they can just alternate perfectly. And then there's the other ones, and then my Super M albums. So I have a Baekhyun copy on display, because that's my man's. And then I have Lucas, Kai, and Taeyong's covers. And then we have my Stray Kids albums. Yeah. Clay, Miro, and Forwards was when they started doing a limited version and 2 regulars, I believe. Yeah. something like that. And then the full-length album, there's 3 versions and then unlimited. I've decided moving forwards, I probably want to buy just like one regular version and then a limited. But I am still debating if I really want that or do I just want to buy all the versions. I'm really digging Stray Kids' music with each comeback, so I don't know what my purchasing habits for them are going to be just yet. Pretty much any group in my top 10, I need to buy at least 1 copy. That's just on period, and they're in my top 10. And then we have TXT over here, so I have all their albums. And on top of the Dream Chapter Magic is the Locks and the Keys for the Dream Chapter Eternity. And I don't dislike TXT's music any less than I did last year, but I have decided, since they're not in my top 10, moving on forwards, I'm just going to buy one version of their album. They're a 1-version group for me as of now. So I'm no longer going to buy multiple versions for TXT. I'm just going to stick with 1 and done. So that is the TXT plans. Still really like them. I think they're a very impressive group, vocally and dance-wise. So can't fault them for that. Money purposes, I need to think of which albums I want to buy more. And then up here, I have my Stray Kids light stick. Why is it not with Stray Kids? I don't know. Okay. I have not used that in a concert, but one day I will be bringing that bad boy with me and screaming my heart out to all the Stray Kids hits, whenever that is. Then we have Got7. So Got7 is in my top 10. I have decided, I think, that I just want 1 version of each album. I don't know if I'll go back and get all the versions, you know. If I bought all the versions for my top 10, I would literally have no money to buy any other groups. Not even my girl group albums that I like. So that's why I have to kind of pick and choose just a tiny bit. And then next to Got7 is my NCT 127, NCT Dream, and NCT Empathy, and there's a Wavy album. I've also decided as much as I like the members of Wavy, I don't really care for their music as much, so I'm not planning on buying the other Wavy albums. I may buy a Wavy album again in the future if it really speaks to me, but musically, they're not my cup of tea. So as you can see, I do love me some NCT 127. That is just that. I'm not buying 4 copies of their next comeback. That was just a spur of the moment thing because I saw they had it at Target and I said, bitch, let's buy it. So that's why there's 4 copies of the final round. And then up here is the New East shelf. So New East is in my all-time faves. So there are all the versions type of group. So we have the first albums, and then as you can see, post Produce, they were like, okay, New East is popping, so we're gonna give you multiple versions and we're gonna give you 4. And then for the table, they were like, we're gonna give you 3. And then for the Nocturne, they were like 4 again. And I bought an M-Wave copy and it's Becco's signature. And then the New East W albums, they were like 2, and then the last one was 3. So there's all the New East W albums. And then here are the Eyes One albums. I think moving forwards with Eyes One, while it was fun to buy all the versions of Bloom Eyes, only because I was so looking forward to that frickin' album. And then I was like, well, I want to keep the momentum going. So I bought all 3 versions of One Rick Diary. But I think moving forwards, I'm going to go back to just buying 1 version like I did with the first 2 albums. Maybe. I really like Eyes One. They're my 3rd favorite girl group at the moment. So I might not stick to that. I don't know yet. The future is unclear. I don't know how many more comebacks they're going to get either. Those are my Animal Crossing. Those are my Nintendo Switch games. One of them is Animal Crossing. And then, yeah, those are not important. And then we have my Astro albums. Astro is also in one of my all-time favorites. So there are all the versions type of group. The only thing I'm missing is the Dream Part 2 with version. There is some copies on eBay, but they're like $140, and I still can't convince myself that that is a justifiable purchase, so that's missing. And I don't collect the Japanese versions religiously. I only bought one version, which I think that's how I'm going to do it. But yeah, we have all the versions. And then we have Victon, which I'm kind of really liking, and Songwoo's album will be purchased. I know I said I wasn't going to buy any albums. Well, I told myself this. I don't remember if I told you guys this, but I said that. But I am making a few exceptions here and there because I really want Songwoo's album support. So there's Victon in a nutshell. I don't have all of it, and I don't think I'm going to have all of it. Maybe one day. And then we have Wood's Equal album. And then we have my SF9 albums, which I'm really digging SF9. I was not here for them when I first heard of SF9, but now I'm really becoming a huge fan. So these are the ones I have at the moment. O Sole Mio, Nights of the Sun, Sensuous, RPM, which is my first SF9 album, Glorious, and First Collection. I really want Narcissus. That is probably the next SF9 album I'll be buying. And then we have one more shelf. So this shelf right here currently resides the Boyz. One day they're probably gonna have to move though, because it's already kind of taking up a lot of space. And yeah, so it's all in mismatched order, but we have Dreamlike first, and then the 2 single albums and Tattoo, and then there's the mini albums and the full length. It wasn't, I don't know what my collection plans are with the Boyz. I clearly have bought all 3 versions of Dreamlike and Reveal, and I don't know if I'm gonna continue doing that or not. I don't know, because when I was buying these ones, I wasn't doing all the versions, except for the first one, because I was in Korea and they were there, and I had love for Joo Hak-yeon. And then it was like one version. So I think it's gonna go back to one version. I think. I don't know. They're not in my top 10, so I feel like if I'm going to be buying all the versions of some group, they need to be in the top 10. So that is like the goal. That's the rule. If I'm buying all the versions of any group for Boyz, they have to be in my top 10. If they're not, what are you really doing with your life? You're literally depriving you're literally being a hypocrite. Like, you don't have all the versions of Day 6, but you buy all the versions of the Boyz. But Day 6 is literally after New East. Fake bitch. I'm sorry. I love the Boyz though. And then we have my Red Velvet albums. So the box ones is up there. The Summer Magic Irene cover is on display because it's beautiful. And then we have the other ones. So I am debating if I want the bass note. Maybe one day, but these are the Red Velvet albums. So for Red Velvet, I do one of each. And then if there's a limited, I do the limited. So that is how I have done that. So those are the Red Velvet albums. They're my second favorite girl group. Girl, what, you know, how I was like talking about, I buy all the versions, and then I'm like, saying I buy all the versions of IZ*ONE, but not all the versions of Red Velvet, you know. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, it is what it is. It is what it is. I have weird collection habits. I don't know. Yeah. So that is it. I hope you guys enjoyed this shelf tour. I like how my shelves look at the moment. I am running out of space, and this is with me having put away half of my albums in storage boxes. So it's like, I don't know where I'm gonna move on from here. I mean, there is some space left, so I'm not saying I'm completely out of space yet, but we're getting there again. I had to put away half of the albums in storage boxes because I did run out of space. Last year, towards the middle, I completely ran out of space. There was no room for any group, for any new albums, and I was literally stacking people on top of each other. So I had to put stuff away. So yeah, that is how my albums look at the moment, and I hope you guys enjoyed my shelf tour video. I love shelf tour videos. I think they're so fun to see how other people do their albums. I know mine's probably not as exciting as others. Some people are just very aesthetic. I'm not very good at aesthetics. I'm really not. If you saw my one haul video, you saw that I got the Kihyun Tutok wall scroll, the large version. So it's big, baby. It's also covering some stuff. Hey, Victon and Red Velvet is in there too. But what I got recently is this. So it's this Lavender Utua, and it's from the 17 Dome Tour concert, part 3, I think. Anyways, I did it in a group order, and it's purple, and he looks so cute, and he has black hair, which that is probably my weakness, Joshua with black hair, and I love. So that is my newest acquisition. I did it in a group order, and it's so beautiful. Like, the way he's just looks so cute and so handsome. Like, I love this man to pieces. And as I'm saying that and gushing over it, I'm just looking at Jaehyun, and his expression is just giving me like, I'm so jealous that you're not talking about me. Okay, there, you have your time to shine. You have your time to shine, Jeffrey. Shoot. So, yeah. I think it's so cute. I think it's adorable. I think it's everything. So, I'll see you on the next video. Also, I love this poster. I think it's so cute. I love it. Lick the lollipop. That's enough. Bye.